All right, my guest this week on the Gaucho9 podcast, head coach Andrew Checketts, and let's cut right to the chase. Checks, Gauchos are 2022 Big West champions. How does that feel?
It feels good. It's relieving. Yeah, stressful Friday game, and we didn't play great on Tuesday, and then didn't play great on Friday, and found a way to pull it out. And then Saturday, obviously, got a great start from Goody and got enough runs there. But yeah, it feels relieving, and when we didn't play great on Tuesday, and we got beat for 8 innings on Friday. I mean, it wasn't. I know we had the inning where we walked some guys, but we only gave one run in that inning. I mean, besides that, we got beat just about everywhere. On the mound, offensively, that Riverside, they came ready, and so yeah. I mean, it's hard not to think about, man, this would really stink if we blew this thing, and it's hard not to let your brain go there. So my brain was going there. So it was pretty relieving once we clinched.
Mine was definitely going there, and I mean, you can't help yourself really maybe it's different as a player. I'm sure the players they're just out there playing baseball. At least that's what you're trying to teach them and trying to encourage them to do. But I mean, as a staff member and as a member of the media, of course, you're looking at all the standings and the stats and the recent history, and Riverside has beaten the 2019 champs 2 out of 3 and beat the 2016 College World Series team 2 out of 3, and it's like, this could be a series that nips you in the butt, and it sure felt like that on Friday. But the Gauchos have won a lot of games this year where they've had to come from behind or work around some walks and try and pull it out, in not miracle fashion, but, it wasn't easy, and they've been able to win games like that. And I think, that says something about the character of a team, is being able to win when you're not at your best, and they've been able to do that.
Yeah, they've done a good job, and we played a lot of games that have been close, or, yeah. I mean, just a lot of close games or back and forth games, and we had a few weeks where maybe we had some blowouts, and really outscored some people. But in general, it feels like, we've gotten the lead, we've figured out a way to give it back to them, or let them get close. And so we've had scary moments over the course of the season. And I think, the more of those you get into, the more comfortable you get in those moments. And so, yeah, I was proud of the guys, the way they came back and bounced back. And we had a little help there in the ninth, but they still did a good job of, not swinging at pitches that were out of the strike zone, and staying with their plan, and getting that game turned around. So it's been a good group, and anytime you win 40 games, that's quite an accomplishment in college baseball.
Yeah. So 2 championships in the last 3 full seasons. 2020 didn't happen, so 19 and now 2022, and then 40 wins for the 3rd consecutive full season as well. First time in school history. So they had 45 in 19, 41 last year, and now 40 so far this year with games to play. So that's the first time that's happened in school history, 3 straight years. And I think that's now six years in which you have had 40 wins as head coach. Or is it 5? I didn't prep that going into it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I think it's 5 of the last 7. I think I read that somewhere.
Okay.
So I don't think we had a 40 win before that. The regional team in 2012, I don't think won 40 games. So
well, we can count it now. So 15, 16, 19, 22, or 21, 22. So 5 40-win teams, and this will be regional number 6. And we'll get to that in a minute, but let's see, you won a Big West Conference championship at Riverside 2007, and then the 19 championship, which was on the last day of the season. And I talked about this a little bit on the broadcast yesterday, but it's the first time that I've had the experience of, okay, we are conference champions, and there's still regular season games to be played. So, like, how do you approach the games now that you've clinched? the conference championship, you know that you're going to the postseason, and you have a week plus to play some games, either rest guys or minimize innings or take a different approach. Like, what's the approach now that you have 3 games to go in the regular season leading up to the postseason?
Yeah, it's it. I mean, you're trying to balance out a lot of different things. One, you want your team ready, and you want them healthy, and you want them in a good place going into the playoffs. And we've talked about it a bunch, but that 19 team, it was such an elation and a high to win that on the last day. We couldn't get refocused going into the playoffs. We just had to. We went up to Stanford. It was a celebration parade. We didn't actually go up there on a mission to win the conference. It really felt that way, and we didn't play well. So I think it is nice to have a few games to, work through it and work through some things, and try and set our pitching up for the regional. We've got to get a fourth starter ready to go, and so trying to get JD Callahan out there for 4 or 5 innings, keep him in shape, or have him throw some scrimmage type stuff so that we have him ready to go. We've got some health stuff that's the guys have done a good job, but they're some guys playing at 85%. And see if we can get them in there and keep them sharp, but also get them out and figure out some bullpen stuff. There's I thought some real positives yesterday with especially Hall and Rice, how they came in and threw and kind of looked like what we thought they could do. And so try and get them a few more outings, but also keep them fresh for the regional and not have them too worn down. So yeah, we're trying to figure out how to balance all that stuff, and then you still want to win. I mean, you don't want to go to the playoffs with a bad taste in your mouth, and there's still some things that we can do that are pretty cool. To have a chance to not lose a series all year. And I don't know the answer. Donegal reached out to Kendall Rogers to ask him if he knew if there was, because UConn lost 2 weeks ago and they had not had a loss. I know in the top 25, there's nobody that hasn't lost a series yet this year. So my assumption is that would go across the country if the top 25 teams in the country haven't done that. The assumption would be that there's nobody that has done that.
Yeah, it would certainly be a talking point. The first one that comes to mind is Tennessee only has 7 losses, but they lost a series to Kentucky on the road. So
Texas State lost a series. UConn lost last weekend.
mm-hmm.
Those were the ones that were still out there that I'm aware of, at least on the UConn side of things. So, I think that's a pretty cool thing. We've never done it here. That's never happened since I've been here. I haven't asked Bill Mahoney. He would be the one that would remember if it had happened prior. But that 40 win mark, we were able to get there. That was another carrot. And then playing for seeding. I mean, your RPI is going to matter a bit in the seeding, and we're kind of on that bubble 2-3 seed. I think the conference championship probably helps lean us more towards a 2 seed, but you're playing for seeding and trying to get a better draw, in that opening round with that first game. So now they don't seed the tournament 1 through 64, so it's not as big a deal as it maybe would be in like basketball, where they seed it 1 through 64. Especially on the West Coast, where a lot of times things are just regional, and they're sending the WAC winner and the Mountain West winner and the Big West winner. If they don't have RPIs and hosting range, they're shipping them off to the Pac-12 schools, and so some of that is kind of inevitable. But you're still hoping that you get a better draw, or you go to a regional that's not as packed. And so I think that regional of death we were in 2015, that the 3 seed won the national championship, and the 4 seed was a team that won 40 games, San Diego State, and I think they won 40 games. They're close to that.
And they were conference champions.
Yeah, won 40 games and were conference champions in California. I mean, it's a little bit of a different team than maybe some of the teams that are 4 seeds out on the East Coast. So, a team that snuck in and won its conference tournament with a sub 500 record or something like that. That wasn't what we rolled into. And same thing with the regional one last year. I mean, you got Sac State, who was legit, and you had Stanford, and you had Fresno, who was very good and had a first rounder. So I know it's the playoffs and none of it's easy, but you're also, hoping maybe you get a little bit of a better draw with the higher seating.
Yeah, 19 Stanford, Fresno State, Sac State, and it just feels like, yeah, these are all teams that we've played that are all familiar with each other. So, well, and I was going to ask like if you have a prediction, but Big West champion I think has gone to Stanford the last 3 seasons. It was Irvine last year went to Stanford. Gauchos in 19 went to Stanford. And I think it was Fullerton in 18 that went to Stanford. So,
Did Stanford win the conference championship in 19?
I can check that.
I know they didn't. I know they didn't last year because I checked it this morning. I was curious. Um, that's the only. I would say I would have said Stanford almost 100% going into the weekend. The NCAA's
UCLA,
got okay.
UCLA in
Yeah. So
19.
the NCAA's got a budget they're dealing with too. So the fact that they can bus us there and don't have to get us on a flight, we're the only team, as of right now, barring no, yeah, I don't think there's anybody from the West Coast Conference that's going to be able to bust there if it wins. If Gonzaga gets knocked off. Um, so the fact that they can bust us there, I would have said 100%. But the fact that they won the regular season conference championship and we won the regular season conference championship, um, makes me wonder there because we look at historically. Last year we finished second. We went to the conference champions in Arizona. Um, Irvine won the conference championship. They went to I think Stanford was third place team last year, second place team last year. And then in 19, we won the conference championship and was Stanford second or third that year?
In 19,
Yeah.
they were second to UCLA.
Yeah. So anyways, I woke up thinking, hey, yeah, we're sure going to Stanford, but then, there's an outside shot the Ducks host. You got the Beavers that are going to host. Maybe they send us to a second place team or second or third place team in the pack. But I also come back to they can just put us on a bus to Stanford.
Well, that's what happened in 19, and yes, so Fullerton was there in 18, and they've won that Stanford regional. So Big West school has been in Stanford each of the last 3 postseasons. That's the best we can do as far as predicting.
Yeah,
but 3 games
I would
to
feel
go.
pretty confident that we will be at one of the West Coast sites. So.
Yes, I would agree, and I think outside chance that Gonzaga will host. I didn't check on how they did this weekend, but they've been.
Yeah, I think their RPI is at 28. So I mean, I think they've got some work to do to.
Probably win the conference tournament and
sneak
hope
in
for the best.
Yeah, and I don't remember their RPI was at last year, but they got sent to Oregon, and
yep,
they were in range. I thought last year, kind of very similar.
The exciting thing is that Gauchos are guaranteed a spot, no matter where they go. It's not going to be a selection show where it's a cross our fingers and hope that we go. Gauchos are guaranteed with the automatic bid as conference champions and outright conference champions. And yesterday, 7 seniors honored before the game, and a great senior class. I know it was an emotional day at the Yard. It was a crazy weekend because you had the walk off on Friday, conference championship on Saturday with the celebration with the family and friends on the field. 2 Gatorade showers for Coach Checketts. 2 of them, I'm sure you were.
The second one was much colder than the first one. The Gatorade felt like it was a nice little warm bath there, and
But then,
I
mean, you're already you're already wet, and then the second one had more ice than water in it. So
yeah, they caught me off guard both times. They got me, so I was not anticipating that. So
well, it was well done. And yesterday, the senior day. I mean, what more can you say? Jason Willow, he's in the top 10 now in games played. Yesterday was 206th game as a Gaucho, which is an outstanding number. It really is in many regards. Mason Eng, first career home run. That was just the coolest thing ever. I think I had said earlier in the year that if Mason Eng gets a home run, it's going to be the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then I think Bob Bronsma said that as well on the broadcast at some point, and I think he said it yesterday. And then
And he was
being,
going for it too. I mean,
oh yeah,
his first at bat. I mean, he almost fell down on a couple of those swings. So it was I could see what he was doing. That was yeah. The dugout went crazy, and
when
yeah, it was
he
amazing.
was dialed in batting practice, so I mean I could see it coming, and it happened. And then being able to sub out some of the guys, Willow and Johnson and Mortensen, after they got base hits late in the game, to get them an applause is was pretty cool as well. But can you talk about the seniors, because it was KJ over 150 games, Bryce Willits, who's having a great year, Jason Willow, of course, 200 games. Um, who else? Mason hit the home run. Uh, Mortensen, he's got 28 career home runs. I mean, all of them have been contributors. Unfortunately, Trevor Beard wasn't able to pitch yesterday, but he had 2 appearances this year, or 3 appearances, where he was lights out, kind of in a pinch and coming back from injury, and so he's had his moments. Who am I forgetting? I think I'm
Well, the
forgetting
cool
one
thing
more.
about Trevor too,
And Gianni Bloom, that was the other one.
yeah,
But go ahead
yeah.
about Trevor.
The cool thing about Trevor is just he's been hurt and he's had to come back, and he had some good outings. He's just been a great teammate. I mean, just a great kid, and he's still working. He's still fighting. It'd be really easy to just kind of cave in and go, well, I'm not on the travel roster. I'm not on the 27-man roster. I'm done. He's got a new grad school next year, but he's not. He's still fighting. He's going to throw some live hitters today. He's trying to get out there and figure out some way that he can possibly get on a travel roster and help the team in a regional. And that yesterday, a lot of those guys, have been here. It's weird to have guys that have been here that long and have haven't gone through the COVID thing, and with the changes in the draft, maybe some of these guys wouldn't have been here. With the 40-round draft, you're probably for sure Brock Mortensen's probably not here with a 40-round draft, um, and so yeah, it was a really cool day. I had a hard I was having a hard time keeping it together just at the senior presentation at the beginning of it. I had to keep my glasses on. I could barely talk. It was just those guys, that, and senior day is always, always hard. But last few years it's been different. You've got three of those guys were walk-ons that, made the team and have been huge contributors. And, I know they read during kind of their bios, some of those guys' records, like, Willow and KJ are
Our
100,
wins.
168 and 70 and 3 regionals, um, and they left the place better than they found it, and have been really key contributors and great leaders this year, and just good kids. I mean, Johnny Bloom's story, just every time I think about it, I'm like, I well up, just how he ended up here, where he came from in terms of not being a star at his junior college to catching in a regional, and calling his own game and leading, and what he has done for our pitching staff and the catchers around him, and a lot of stories like that. KJ and all of them, all those guys have just left a real mark on the program and a mark on us and our hearts. And so yeah, that was tough. And then my daughter singing the national anthem, I barely got through that one. And so by the time the game started, I was pretty tapped out. So I'm glad the guys played well and made that party pretty easy on us. And you couldn't have drawn it up any better. Just, to have Mason Eng hit a homer, to have all those guys be on base late in the game when we were, in control of the game, and have a chance to get them out and get them a little bit of a curtain call. And hard to draw it up any better than that.
And not to mention first class families, really.
Yeah.
And they've, the Blooms have been on the road the whole year. The Engs have been on the road the whole year. The Johnsons, you see the Willits at every game. You see Willow's family was there as well, coming down from Canada. And they're at all those games, and they come and say hi to me, and they listen to the podcast, and they absorb the broadcast when they're not there, and they are so supportive of the team and of their kids and of us, the staff. And it's it's great for them to be part of the family and part of the success. And so a tip of the cap to the families as well, because they've been outstanding.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Dream families and super supportive of the kids and the team and the coaches and you know all those guys. A lot of those guys. This wasn't easy. You know, Kyle Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone from not traveling, not playing a lot, just hoping
Not
to make the team and get a uniform to what's that?
not
What were
getting
you
a
gonna say?
logo, not getting a logo on your hat freshman year.
Yeah. I mean, he had to grind through it, and last year to, you know, came on late and really helped down the stretch, but being a in and out as a player at times and being a starter and then sitting and to being hitting in the four hole this year and being a three-time Golden Eagle Award winner and a lot of those other guys. Bryce Willits was our bat handler last year in the playoffs.
That's right.
He was hurt and wasn't able to play 100% and was struggling and we wanted to we felt like his presence was important there and so he wasn't going to make the travel roster. We had him. He was the bat handler. I mean, and you didn't hear a word from him about or complaints or Johnny Bloom's gone from starting to sitting to starting to sitting, and Mason Eng's gone from starting to all those guys. Trevor's gone from throwing to hurt to throwing well to not throwing, and they've been super supportive of the program and really tremendous team players. So
yeah, and there's been this mix of this group who are seniors and have either been here for 5 years or have transferred into the mixture of first year players. And I was going through the highlights of the year last night because I was pulling the highlights from the games and changing up the intro a little bit to add some up to date sound bites for the podcast. And of course, I was going through some of the highlights and like there's a lot of big moments this year from first year guys and from seniors. Darby, his 2-homer game against Oregon, which was kind of his breakout game. I mean, Rice and Ager, their performances as first guys out of the pen, time and again leading the team in appearances. Curtly robbing the home run against UC Davis, and then KJ hitting that 3-run homer on Sunday when the Gauchos were down 3-1. I mean, how important were those? I mean, that was, back in March. It feels like a long time ago, but those were two moments that the Gauchos needed to pull those wins out on the road against Davis. I mean, the Pauly weekend was unbelievable. Clausen 2 homers on the Friday game. Gianni Bloom breaking out, hitting 2 home runs. The go-ahead triple. Nick Oakley 7 RBIs or something like that, and like 3 doubles that weekend. Corey Lewis has been the general all weekend long. I know he wasn't at his best on Friday, but he had the shutout against Irvine. He was great against Cal Poly. Mason Eng's home run. Gallagher won pitcher of the week back against CSUN. Willits had that game against CSUN where he had 2 homers, drove in 7, coming off of injury. And even Jordan Sprinkle. I mean, Jordan's had kind of an up and down year, but he had 8 RBIs this weekend. He had the go-ahead double against Cal Poly on Saturday. So you go down the list, and that was an extensive list. Thank you for bearing with me. But
and you probably didn't cover all of them.
And I probably didn't cover all of them, right? It's an extensive list, and it feels like every guy, and guys that I didn't mention, like Nick Vogt, or John Newman, like guys that I haven't mentioned had moments of their own. It's been a collective effort, and you need that to win 40 games and go to a regional.
I had two comments from parents yesterday that really stood out to me, and one was, and we thought about it, but they brought it up of just saying we've had guys go down
and injuries, yeah,
and the guys that have stepped in. Nick Oakley steps in and has that huge weekend, or Johnny Bloom goes down and has knee surgery, and John Newman steps in and is able to really provide some offense for us. Then Johnny comes right back, and John Newman gets pushed back a little bit in the splitting time instead of starting, and he's a good teammate about that, and Johnny comes out and homers and plays great defense, and and you've had that kind of all over the place. Clausen being in and out, and Kirtley playing at 85%, sometimes, and so they've done a really nice job. And I know the bullpen's been a bit of a mixed bag, but it seems like we've been able to find the hot hand at the right times most of the time, and
Well,
finish the game.
19 saves is tied for a program record. You need one more save to set a program record in saves. I mean, so
well, yeah, I mean, and I think the average fan that's watched us play, you would say, the bullpen has not been a strength. We haven't thrown enough strikes, but we've had our moments. Rice and Ager were really hot, and we were able to kind of go back and forth with them. And Harvey's got 10 saves, and he hasn't had as many saves lately, but he's actually throwing the ball as well as he has all year right now. Getting Clayton Hall back has a chance to be huge for us. But yeah, they've found a way to finish those games off, even if maybe it's been nerve-wracking or ugly at times. And it's been a little bit of a different guy. I mean, Matt's got 5 saves, so he's he saved some games, and Michael Rice has 6 wins, so he's had to come in and tie games when we're down and get a win. And Harvey's got 10 saves, and you've got other guys that have helped out along the way. So it's been a lot of different people have stepped up in a lot of different moments. And then the other one was Bill Oakley, Nick's dad, commented on Jason Willow, and I'm sure he's fine with us being public, but he said, hey, Jason and Kyle and those guys have taken Nick under their wing since he got here, and have embraced him, and created an environment for him of, hey, you're part of this, we believe in you, here's how you do things, as opposed to sometimes I think it's a freshman carry my bags. And that, I think that's something that we spend a lot of time on, and we're proud of. And to hear a dad say that made a difference for his kid, and that it's helping him feel like he belongs. And I think Nick came in not sure he belonged, and just trying to earn a spot, and now he's had these huge moments where he's at Cal Poly weekend, he helped carry the team with his mentality there. So I think a lot of that starts with those older guys and their leadership, and what they bring to the table besides their arms and their legs and their bats.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And Bill has been he's checking in with me, and he's been appreciative of the work that we've done on the broadcasting side and the media side, and it's been fun watching Nick grow, because last year he was he was like the last man on the roster in the regional, and he scored a run in that last game, and then he's had his moments this year, and he could have been, well, he was added to the list that we just went down, because he's had his actually he was on the list. I mentioned him on the list. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yes.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday he hits a double, or
it's only at bat of the year of the weekend.
It's a stretch double. It's a single that most guys would have just gone coast around the corner, and he pushes it, and he ends up on second. And I think a lot of that is how Nick plays and his personality, and he brings it to the table. But he also sees Jason Willow play that way too, and I think that is something that is contagious.
So 3 more games to play. Selection show is Memorial Day in the morning, that Monday. So next Monday, we're recording this on Monday. So next Monday morning, selection show. I think it's at 9 o'clock, probably. That's how it's been traditionally. 9 o'clock in the morning, ESPNU. We'll have more info out, website.
Hang on 1 second, Kevin. Hey, Ellie, I'm on the podcast right now, so unless you want to come over and say hi to all the Gauchos.
Ellie, come say hi. No,
you want to come say hi, Ellie? Come on over. Come on over. You'll be on the weekly podcast. You gotta hurry, or you're gonna lose your window.
She's only gonna see me.
All right, she ran.
Well, stay tuned for selection show. 3 more games this weekend against Bakersfield on the road. 6 o'clock on Thursday, 6 o'clock on Friday, and then 1 o'clock on Saturday for the season finale. And then the Gauchos find out where they go on Monday morning. To wrap things up, I do want to talk about some Gauchos in the pros, because there's been some developments Bieber has been he's not 2020 Cy Young Bieber, but he's getting back to that form. He went 7, struck out 10 against the Tigers this weekend. He's got 5 quality starts, an ERA in the low threes this year for the Guardians. Dylan Tate has been outstanding for the Orioles. He's got a save, a couple of holds. He's got an ERA, I think it's 2.01 in 19 appearances for Baltimore. Kyle Nelson, 15 appearances for the Diamondbacks. He's got a 1.23 ERA. And then Andrew Vasquez, he's been up and down with the Blue Jays right now. He's been recently promoted to the big club. He's got about 4 or 5 innings pitched. And then McGreevy, yesterday, promoted from single A to double A. And it was last week that Armani Smith got promoted from single A to double A. So Gaucho's getting it done in the big leagues and in the minors. I know Rodney Boone won Pitcher of the Week in single A.
Rod's having a great year. I got a text from Rod's having a great year. I got a text from somebody that played against him, one of my buddies that's in pro ball. Said he's got an alien fastball. So just
alien.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, it's different, unique, and everybody misses it. And he's having a great year. So
that's great. I mean, we're so wrapped up in the season, it's hard to keep track of the guys playing in pro ball. But like, how much have you been able to follow other than just getting texts here and there from guys?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you know this. We're at the office and we're working on our baseball stuff. Plus, we've got all the recruiting and fundraising and facility. You know, take care of the facility and all that stuff. So it gets a little. I feel bad sometimes because it gets a little bit tough during the season to follow. But we are following those guys and we're proud of them. And those guys in the big leagues are having great years. And Shane, I think, was working through some stuff early, and looks like he's settling in and getting back to form. And Bieber and Nelly look like they're Bieber and Tate look like they're establishing themselves as regulars up there. And so yeah, we're happy for those guys, and those minor league guys are grinding through it. And some of them are, hopefully knocking on the door here. But we're proud of those guys, and looking forward to continue to follow them. And I wish I had a chance to sit down and watch more of the games. I got MLB TV, and William, when I come down in the morning, he's usually watching some kind of highlight. So he's into it in the morning, and he gives me updates on how Beebs did and how Tate
awesome.
and Andrew are doing. And so he's kind of my conduit to keep me informed.
That's awesome. And McGreevy, pitcher of the month in April in his single A league before his promotion. And then 2 Gauchos from last year, Cole Cummings and Marcos Caston, playing on the same team at Lake Elsinore. Gauchos are familiar with Lake Elsinore, and they're both playing together with the Storm. Okay, that'll wrap things up for now. We'll check in, of course, before the postseason. 3 games to go against Bakersfield. And then next Monday, selection show, find out where the Gauchos are going. So Gauchos will be on the road for the next 2 weeks. And stay tuned for that. If you're planning on traveling to the regionals, wherever they may be, you will find out on Monday, and Gauchos will find out on Monday. And looking forward to it. It's been a great year, rewarding year in many respects, but not done. I feel like we did a recap because the season's over, but it's not over. But there's been many good things to happen and many more good things to come. So Chex, appreciate it, and go Gauchos. Thank you.
Thanks for all your work, Kev.